On behalf of the commissioners and staff of Volunteer Iowa, I would like to thank you all for taking the time today to be part of our day at the Capitol. My name is Adam Lounsbury, Executive Director of Volunteer Iowa. I am always energized by all of the amazing program representatives who take the time to participate in this day every year. The work you do embodies what it is that makes Iowa special. Before you begin this day of speaking with legislators, know that our legislature has a long history of strong bipartisan support for service, mentoring, and volunteerism. Also know that our governor and lieutenant governor are regarded as champions of service amongst their peers. In 2020, they recognized the importance of the role Volunteer Iowa plays in times of disaster. All of our programs, from AmeriCorps to mentoring, pivoted from normal day-to-day practices to continue to meet the needs of Iowans throughout the COVID-19 pandemic. AmeriCorps programs statewide provided assistance with food distribution to make sure Iowans were able to access food through the COVID-19 pandemic. They also mobilized volunteers after the derecho during the recovery and rebuilding process and beyond. Mentoring programs adapted too, so they could continue to provide critical supportive relationships while students were learning virtually. The governor also allocated $10 million of federal CARES Act dollars towards the Nonprofit Recovery Fund, from which many of your programs benefited and allowed your work to continue. Sharing the story of your program with legislators ensures that they know the critical role that service plays in making Iowa strong. Don't let your meeting today be the end of the conversation, but the beginning of a continuance of that relationship with your legislators. Invite them to visit your program. Add them to your newsletter distribution list, and share regularly the impact your program has in your community. With that, thank you and good luck.
Hi everyone, my name is Leah Rodenberg, and I am proud to serve as the board chair of the Iowa Commission on Volunteer Service. I want to thank you for participating in Volunteer Iowa's virtual day at the Capitol. While we are operating a bit differently this year, I want to recognize that you are taking valuable time out of your day to let your elected officials know how important Volunteer Iowa's work is in supporting your organizations. Our day at the Capitol brings together the programs Volunteer Iowa supports, including AmeriCorps, AmeriCorps Seniors, the Volunteer Centers, and mentoring programs. At Volunteer Iowa, we see our role as supporting you by providing the resources and training you need to use volunteers effectively. We know that our sector needs to have a voice in the decision-making process at the state legislature level, and we thank you for coming together to help us share the message about the important priorities the Commission has established for this year's state legislative session. Each year, we advocate for policies based on the following 5 guiding principles. The first is building the culture and climate for service in Iowa, supporting the infrastructure needed for quality service opportunities and programs, developing new service opportunities to meet critical community needs, improving and streamlining existing service opportunities and programs, and finally, expanding Iowa's existing volunteer base. This year, we established specific priorities related to several programmatic areas. The first is the RSVP Senior Core Program, and our request is to increase state funding to match an increased number of federal grants awarded in Iowa. For the AmeriCorps programs, we would like to see the AmeriCorps living allowance exempted from state income tax so that AmeriCorps members have the funds they need to live off while engaging in service in our communities. For the Iowa Mentoring Partnership, our goal is to maintain state appropriations at their current level. And for general volunteer programs, we are requesting the legislature fully fund the Volunteer Iowa operating budget, given our great increase in programming. We know that many of you have individual agency advocacy days or are part of other coalitions with additional legislative priorities. So we thank you for choosing to be part of this day and sharing not only the successes of your individual programs, but also how Volunteer Iowa plays a role in contributing to those programs. We've provided a handbook and some talking points about our policy priorities, And that should help with all of the information that you need to participate today. However, if you didn't have a chance to attend our webinar pre-training or need a refresher, you can find all of the materials on our Volunteer Iowa website. We ask that you please report back to us about how your meetings went and any other ideas you have for policy changes and reforms that will support your work. Each year we take the feedback we receive and make sure our policy priorities emphasize the issues that matter most to you and your volunteers. So again, I want to thank you on behalf of Volunteer Iowa for your participation today, and have a wonderful day talking with your legislators. Thank you.